months by doing what we need to do in order to have the vaccine can take an effect.
Distribution of the COVID vaccine is expected to begin in the U.S. next week, but it could take months before every age group is allowed to get the shots. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. Health experts are trying to balance vaccine distribution with the efforts to get kids back in school. WCIA3's Jen Lask learned more about the reason kids and teenagers are not allowed to get vaccinated yet.
I have two kids at home as well, and I know they are definitely missing out by having a virtual experience rather than the in-school experience, which they're really craving right now.
That's why OSF's manager of pharmacist operations, Brian Laird, is eager for COVID-19 vaccines to be approved for kids. But the first round of clinical trials only included non-pregnant adults.
The Pfizer vaccine, they didn't start studying kids until about October. And for the Moderna vaccine, the other one that's the leading contender to be approved in the next few weeks, it just started in November.
Laird says scientists are not expecting the results to be that different for kids versus adults. However,
we need to make sure that we protect children, and that if it's going to have any kind of bad effects, which we do not expect for any reason, but I would much rather have an outcome that's not as effective in a 65-year-old or a 39-year-old than an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old.
In the meantime,
testing will be more important than ever.
Health experts like Dr. Rajiv Shah with the Rockefeller Foundation are calling on school districts to set up mass testing plans.
The vision that we've all laid out together of using fast, frequent testing as a screening tool to enable essential services to go forward remains America's best strategy to get kids in school.
Some districts have already started implementing those plans. For example, Champaign schools began partnering with Carle back in October to offer on-site testing. Even with elementary schools switching back to remote learning in November, the district says testing for staff and even some students has continued. All this giving Laird optimism as he urges people to get vaccinated and help build herd immunity.
Hopefully by fall, then we can all go back to some semblance of normal that we've been used to.
Reporting, I'm Jen Lask, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Dr. Shah says the Rockefeller Foundation is working with U of I's SHIELD test leaders to implement more mass testing plans for K-12 schools. The U of I is helping other universities roll out saliva-based testing. ISU is working with the U of I to open a lab there. University leaders hoped to have the site up and running by now, but they're still awaiting approval from the FDA. All students living on that campus will be required to get tested before returning to their dorms.
Hospitals are prepared